It's about 5:45 in the morning. It's, of course, a holiday today, Memorial Day weekend. Today's Memorial Day, 2016. And it was raining a little while ago, raining pretty hard. Now it stopped, but the Weather Service has predicted an on and off all-day rain. At times it's going to pour, so I suppose that's what's in store for today. But right now it's nice, it's pleasant. A few drops, but I think those are basically the ones, the residue in the trees working its way down now. Although if it rains later, there'll be plenty more water to go around, which is good, I suppose. It keeps the watersheds full. A lot of places that actually would love to have, a rainfall such as we're getting. We got in the Carolinas, got a lot of rain. Of course, there's the downside when there's flooding and, property damage and people getting hurt. That's, of course, a downside which can be disputed. On the other hand, nature will have its way always. And like I said, I'm in Valley Stream, New York. We here in Long Island, as far as I understand it, get our water from a giant underground aquifer. In New York City, we get our water from, right now there's these two giant water tunnels that's both decades and decades old, centuries perhaps, and we get them from upstate New York. We have reservoirs. One of them I remember visiting some years ago. There was a park next to it in Croton on Hudson, the Croton Reservoir, very nice. And we get the water from there, and it flows gravity-wise into New York City. They are building right now a third water tunnel, which is nearing completion. And if you go online and you see some of the videos or stories about it, just Google it, and it's amazing how far underground it is. And it also comes to New York, from what I understand, by gravity. However, when it gets into the city, it's so deep it has to be pumped up. One of the reasons they have to make it so deep in the city is because there's so many services. You can imagine it in Manhattan, especially, but throughout the city. They have to dig it deep underground to keep away from so many other services. You can start off with the subway system underground, and you have the various water, sewage, and fresh water. You have gas, you have communication, phone lines, cable lines, and I'm sure there are things that I'm not even thinking about at the moment. You have buildings with sometimes basements, sub-basements, lower even, that may be extended to the street. And some of these subways, they're pretty deep. I know the 63rd and Lexington line that I, recall them building that many years ago. That goes pretty deep. You go way underground, And actually, they extended that. Now they're building the 2nd Avenue subway, and I believe that's going to be part of that, for that station. The train that goes up and down 2nd Avenue. There's no doubt this is all pretty amazing stuff. Not to say that there were, if you go back in time and if you read history, there were projects done by the ancients that actually can equal some of the present projects of today. As we know, I guess I was talking about underground projects. You got the pyramids in South America and in Egypt, of course. You have a lot of massive undertakings. You have one in I was reading about in Turkey called Göbekli Tepe, and that's a very interesting one. I'm really digressing here. That's an interesting one because that's 12,000 years old, and this German scientist who spent a lifetime, he died recently, unfortunately, but he came to the conclusion that this, it's covered. They covered it with these giant mounds. It was also a massive building undertaking. He, by examining some of the remnants of the food that the builders would have eaten These are not cultivated. This is not farm. That was not grown. It was like a hunter-gatherer type of diet that the builders had. So he surmises, and of course, oh, I gotta go. It's interesting. Okay, bye. Talk to you again. Bye. Let's come to the video signing out. Bye.